You reminded me when you were talking about state convention. I've been myself have been to a few state conventions, and it's kind of exciting any year just to find out the stuff that the state Democratic Party is doing, and at the local one, the local Democratic Party, and it's fun to go on a Saturday to a state convention and then wake up the next morning, read the newspaper, and it tells everything you did the day before, and so yeah, I agree with you that if people are interested in not only getting Democrats elected, but just having a good time and feeling part of history or whatever, I think that's a good thing to do. And I do get the sense too that this year the county convention is going to be pretty much sort of the same. I mean, in terms of being historical and stuff.
Well, and this is democracy in action. This is people that care about the issues and have different opinions and stating those opinions. I can remember 2 years ago at the county convention, we had some people very strongly opposed to gun control of any kind, and people that were in favor of gun control, having a very civilized discussion about that, talking about the pros and cons, that and a multitude of other issues. You have people that respect each other and have differing opinions and can discuss those in a civilized manner because they're adults, and that's part of what makes democracy work. And we need more of that. And when you talk about the Democratic Party, you have people that are able to do that because they respect their fellow citizens, their fellow Democrats, and that's part of the beauty of it as well. I can remember 2 years ago we were out in Grand Island, and one of the issues was you had Kate Whittick, who'd been elected as a Republican to statewide office, and said, I can't do this anymore. I can't be a Republican. They are too fiscally irresponsible. They no longer have the values that they had when I thought they had when I became a Republican. It's not my party anymore. When I look for fiscal conservatives, I look at the Democratic Party. People like Ben Nelson, those are the people that are true fiscal conservatives. And so she switched her party registration and she came to the Democratic Convention and said, I would be willing to run as a Democrat for statewide office. And of course that was controversial because you had a lot of people that said, hey, she's been a Republican her entire political career. She's run a number of times as a Republican. Why should we put her on the ticket? And so you had some very fierce debate because people were passionate about it. And in the end, we voted to put her on the ticket. That was one of the things we could do at the state convention. We could fill a vacancy, put her on the statewide ballot. We did. She represented the party, I think represented it well going into the fall. And it was, as you said, you read about in the paper the next day because we made news, because that was big political news. But to me, it was one more example of you've got people that respect each other, that some of us have known each other for years, and we can disagree. And at the end of the day, I can say, well, this is what I believe. You may very well be right. Here's why I believe it, and let me hear what you have to say. And that's part of the beauty of the democratic process. And we don't have that many opportunities to do that. The county convention at Pershing Auditorium, that will be one opportunity that we have to do that.
Yeah. And I was at that same convention, and the thing that struck me about that is I'm sure some of the stuff, the discussion happened behind closed doors or whatever, but the decision to let Kate Whittick in was made in public. People voted one way or the other where everybody could see it. And I mean, to me, it's exciting that stuff happens right out in the open, that I can say what I feel and you can disagree with me, but later on we can go drink a beer or whatever later. And
you bet.
And
well, and it's the same thing because it is a Democratic Party, and Democrats by our nature, we're not big on, okay, you tell us, you're the chair, you're the party leader, you tell us what to think. We're big on figuring things out for ourselves. And so you can't ever say, oh, this is what Democrats are going to do, because you've got to make a good case, you've got to use logic, and you've got to explain to them why they should go one way or the other. And if you can make your case, then you can convince them, but you can't just dictate to them. That's not the Democratic way. And when we think about the county convention, one of the things we'll be doing is we'll be electing delegates to the state convention. Some of these people we've never met before, don't know me, and so we go in and you look around and you say, okay, who wants to go? And I'm sure a lot of people want to go because they're excited about Hillary, they're excited about Barack Obama, and you have a chance to listen to them and say, yeah, you know, you're saying the exact things that I think. I want you to represent me in Fremont at the state convention. I'm going to vote for you. And it's face to face, and you're voting for people to send, and that's an exciting part of the convention as well.
Okay, well, I think that's a good stopping point. Thanks to Jeff Kirkpatrick for being on the show today. And we'll see you all, everybody that's watching, we'll see you at Pershing this Sunday. Registration at 12:30, and the convention starts right at 2 o'clock. So see you there.